Hi everyone, my name is Anna and I'm a health peer with SFU Health and Counseling.
And I'm Tina, and I'm a senior rec leader at SFU Recreation. Before we get started, we want to respectfully acknowledge that this video was created on unceded Coast Salish territory, the traditional territories of the Musqueam, Squamish, Tsleil-Waututh, Coquitlam, and Khasi nations.
So around this time of year, a lot of people set goals for themselves, but finding the right technique to achieve them can be hard. Today we'll introduce you to some great goal setting techniques to support your success in both short-term and long-term goals that you set for yourself.
Now, we all have different goals. I'm particularly interested in fitness goals. So, after we chat about what goal setting is and how long term goals and short term goals are different, we're going to draft one together. And we also have somebody else from SFU Rec joining us today.
Hello, I'm Sid, and I'm also a senior rec leader at SFU Recreation, where SFU students can access sports facilities like the Aquatic Center, Climbing Wall, and Fitness Center. We also offer fitness classes. Since COVID-19, we have moved our programs to virtual platforms. We have Healthy at Home, which refers to our live online classes, at-home workout videos, and stretching and meditation exercises. The link to our webpage will be in the video description.
So knowing how to set goals can help you during rough times because goal setting is a way to build a roadmap out of challenging situations. Achieving goals is also a great way to build self-confidence. When you achieve even a small step in the pursuit of a goal, your brain releases a neurotransmitter called dopamine. Dopamine makes you feel good and enhances your motivation. This makes it more likely that you'll continue to achieve your goals. It's easy to feel overwhelmed by goals, and that's okay. The best way to manage some of these seemingly huge aspirations is to break them down into smaller and more achievable steps. So first, what's the difference between long-term and short-term goals? A long-term goal is something that you want to accomplish in the future. It requires time and planning. These goals have longer timelines, with deadlines usually being months or years away. A series of short-term goals are like stepping stones to your long-term goal. These two types of goals work together. They're meant to build on each other and become progressively more difficult. Short-term goals generally have shorter timelines, typically taking days or weeks to complete.
Now, let's talk about mentality and motivation when it comes to setting short term goals. Have you ever noticed that when short term goals are too mentally or physically difficult, it's common to lose motivation and not complete them? It's very important to start with short term goals that are super easy so you can see yourself accomplishing that task, which will then give you motivation to build up that habit. Even after time, short term goals should still be easy enough that you stick to them, but can be adapted to encourage and push you, like stepping stones. When creating initial short term goals, keep in mind that your first few stepping stone goals should be easy to complete so you can check something off your list. In order to build habits, you may want to give yourself more time than you think in order to complete the initial stepping stone goals. Don't move on to your next goal until you've successfully completed the current one. Okay, so how do we make good long term and short term goals? By using SMART goal setting.
SMART is an acronym used for goal setting. It stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and timely. Specific. The goal addresses the who, what, where, why, and how much. Measurable. The goal has some tangible form of measurement of your progress. Achievable. You have the resources and attitude to achieve said goal. Relevant. If it's a short-term goal, it should be relevant to the success of the long-term goal. If it's a long-term goal, it should be relevant to your life. Timely. The goal has a deadline, but you don't need to rush yourself.
As an example, I'm going to create a long term goal with Sid. Let's say my goal is to become more active. That in itself isn't a bad goal, but it's also not a SMART goal.
Let's use the SMART acronym and make this a better formatted long-term goal. Specific includes addressing the who, what, where, why, and how much. Who? Tina. What? Tina wants to be active. Where? At home with SFU Rec's online services. Why? She wants to have more energy throughout the day. How much? She aims to be active at least 1 hour a day for 5 days a week. So, she can take one of SFU Rec's live workout classes. They are each around an hour long, and Tina and her friend can take the same classes to exercise together. Measurable includes having a way of measuring progress. Tina can keep a fitness journal where she will write down the days she exercised and list out which classes she attended.
Achievable includes thinking about how realistic the goal is. I would factor in if I have time to take SFU Rex classes during busier periods like midterms or final season. If I don't have time to catch a live workout class, I can get my 1 hour workout in by following along the at home workout videos. Relevance relates to connecting the goal to your life. This long term goal is in line with my value to improve my mental and physical health so that I am happier and have more energy. Timely relates to thinking of a deadline. Since it would take some time to build this new habit of working out, I will give myself a deadline of 8 months to accomplish this goal.
Since this is a long term goal, Tina can have simpler short term goals to help her get there. We can also use the SMART principles when formulating these short term goals. For example, for her first short term goal, she can start by only attending one healthy at home class a week. In terms of measuring her progress, Tina will be logging the classes in her fitness journal. The goal is achievable because she has time in her schedule to fit in one fitness class a week. She also has her friend attending the same classes to keep her motivated. This is a relevant goal because it fits into her long term goal. As for timely, she will give herself 4 weeks as a deadline. Once she clears the first short term goal, she can move on to the next goal, which is taking 2 fitness classes a week, which means 1 hour of exercise a day for 2 days a week, and so on to build up to her long term goal of 1 hour of exercise a day for 5 days a week. The key is to slowly increase your duration and frequency until you reach your long term goal.
The example that we provided is relatively simple. It's important to recognize that some goals are more complicated and may require much more planning. There are also other goal setting acronyms out there which might be good frameworks to design your particular goal around.
Here's a summary of the SMART acronym. If you find it helpful, you can take a screenshot of this slide and use it to help you develop your own SMART goals.
Thanks for listening. We hope that this was informative and will help you create more realistic and effective goals going forward. If you want to know more about the Health Peers and keep up with our upcoming outreaches and events, follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at SFUHCS, or check out the Health and Counseling website at sfu.ca/students/health. Don't forget to check out SFU Recreation as well.